we want to allow a full bit of time for that. So let us commence as soon as possible. Return to your seats, and please, let's listen to the mayoral candidates when you're ready.
Okay, we want to thank the mayoral candidates for coming. I'm just going to talk a little bit while you settle down and get back into your seats. We've got a whole bunch of fine people who are dedicated to be mayor. This is why we want you to know about ranked voting. So figure out who is your favorite candidate, your second, and your third. Because to save money, we will not have runoffs. You cannot say your favorite person a couple of times because that won't count. So you just say the first, second, third. So we're hoping that you will be able to find first, second, third, and that these candidates will work for us even if not elected. So we're going to find out about this. First up, we're just going to go down the row, and I want the candidates to introduce themselves. Should we have 1 minute only because of the number of the candidates? 2 minutes. Okay, so they need 2 minutes, and then we'll have a rebuttal time. Please introduce yourself to South Berkeley.
Good evening, and it's really good to see so many. I'm going to stand up so I can see all you guys. To see so many people showing up in the democratic process. My name is Baron Toll, and I teach entrepreneurship for engineers at UC Berkeley. And what I try to do is motivate faculty and students to start companies and stay here in Berkeley, so we can provide jobs and we can create a place where people can grow up and have their family and help the neighborhood. And by creating jobs here and helping the businesses downtown, we're actually helping ourselves because we increase our tax revenues and we make Berkeley a nicer place to live. My expertise is in technology, so I have all these really cool ideas about using things like GIS to see what the optimal store will be in an empty storefront, what the community needs and how we can attract them to Berkeley. Also fighting crime, we can put sensors in bicycles and see who's stealing our bikes. So part of my energy policy is to have more people ride bikes, and if less bikes get stolen, more people will be likely to use their bikes instead of driving their cars. And also, I've lived here for 20 years, and I really like this community, and I want to keep a lot of the charm that we have, the tree-lined streets and things, but there are also things that we need to do to keep businesses from going to Emeryville. You know, they were talking about tax spaces. Well, we have some companies here, and we want to attract more big companies and that can pay the tax base instead of trying to frighten them off. At one time, Emeryville had 3 or 4 Fortune 500 companies, and Berkeley didn't have any. And the reason they find it a more appealing climate, but also the smaller businesses, when they go and try to get a business license and things like that. And I've done it myself. I started 3 companies in Berkeley. It was a converse process. We should have a place where people who have a small business can come and just talk to about a problem or an issue, or people who are thinking about starting a company. Having people come in and say, I'm thinking about doing this, and being able to have a place for advice on how to do it and what the appropriate way to do it.
Time's up.
Great.
Hello everyone, my name's Jacqueline McCormick, and I am here to tell you that in this election you have a choice. As Councilman Capitelli said last week, this tanker has been on the same course with the same leader at the helm for half of its 25 years. If we want to continue to be on this ship and watch it run afloat, then we can continue and make the same selection we've made for the last 3 elections, or you can vote for a new independent leadership that will truly turn this ship around. That's why I'm running for mayor. I do not want to see Berkeley stranded. I want to set a new tone for leadership in our city. I want to lead and deliver leadership that's based on integrity and transparency. I want to communicate with everyone in Berkeley. I want to begin having town halls so we can get great ideas from our community, hear their issues, and begin to set policies that come from the community and not from special interests. Berkeley is not at its best. Our financial situation is our greatest problem, but our elected officials continue to talk about how we've balanced our budget and we've done better than any other cities. But we are facing a cliff, and I don't want to see us fall over. I want to provide the leadership that we need to get us back on course and on solid ground, And that is why I am the only candidate that was endorsed last week by the Oakland Tribune. But we can't do this alone. I need our community and the brain trust that we have inherent in our community to move us forward. And I want to show and provide a leadership that will truly put Berkeley, its neighborhoods, its people, and our community first. Thanks.
Hello, good evening. My name is Khalil Jacobs Fantausi. I'm a South Berkeley resident and homeowner. I'm very excited to be here as a mayoral candidate because it's time for change. I'm a new face, I have a new vision, and I offer real, practical solutions. I've been a teacher for 20 years. The reality is that the disparities in our city continue to grow. Those who are wealthy and those who do not have the same resources. In our neighborhoods here in South Berkeley, crime is a major issue. Not just any type of crime, but violent crime. Here in South Berkeley, we deal with issues of unemployment. We don't have the same educational levels. We have a higher percent of single mothers. These are the realities that I come from, and these are the communities and constituencies that I represent. I want to see a city that builds a new, vigorous, and has new solutions for our citizens. We can no longer live off of the legacy of the 60s. We have an amazing, radical, progressive history, but currently the city government does not represent the people in this room. Currently, the city government does not represent the ideals in this room. So I am a candidate who is running for change and to return the city government back to the people. My name is Khalil Jacobs Fantausi. Thanks for having me.
My name is Zachary Rennywolf. I grew up in South Berkeley, 1967. Me and my brother rode dirt bikes on the BART tailings, and I had to be taken home from LeConte School because the tear gas on Telegraph was coming home. Since then, I've had 5 victories against the University of California at Berkeley. Some of you may recognize me as In a Tree. This is the kind of leadership you need here in Berkeley. You need somebody who is not a career politician, but is a strong leader. I have a 2-part plan. This is not vague ideas of how we're going to do this. Basically, shutting down Telegraph from Dwight Way to Bancroft. This is proven with the craft fair to spur small business, to get people to basically go up to Telegraph, pedestrian only. The second one is environmental, and nobody wants to talk about this one. We have global warming. We have a bicycle lending library at every BART station. So basically, that would spurred on within Emeryville roundabout, basically coming from every BART station going up to Telegraph and making this a community base. Some of you I've worked with some of you who basically, we stopped Mayor Bates trying to put a transit village on the Ashby Flea Market. Yes, thank you. I've also worked with you, the community stopping the BRT, which was the assault on the vendors up on Telegraph. So a vote for me is a vote for a representative for the residents. Thank you. Hope.
Good evening. I'm Tom Bates, and I've had the pleasure of being the mayor for a few years now. And I'm running for re-election to continue the work that I've been involved with. And that work is working actually with the schools to try to give our kids a better opportunity to learn and to be able to deal with the achievement gap that exists in our schools. Right now, we have some of the highest achieving kids in the nation. We also have kids who are not doing well. And that gap has been determined to be the largest gap in any place in the United States. That's not acceptable. 5 years ago, we started working on this with the schools, with the parents, and with the group of parents who were involved with the schools. We started a thing called 2020. We're now into it for quite a while now. We're about our fifth year now, and we've seen actual concrete results, not just talking about results. We've seen results. We've seen kids going to school. We've seen kids ready to learn by kindergarten. We've seen them reading independently by 3rd grade, and we're seeing them stay in school. voting with their feet, coming to school because it's important to learn, and they understand that. The school district actually got $1 million more because kids came to school. And so that was great because they voted with their feet. They said this is important. The other thing I'm working on is climate change and global warming, the big issues of our day. We can no longer deny this. Berkeley has one of the best, if not the best, climate action plan in North America. That's what the UN said. And we're implementing that plan. We're providing, people are now driving less. People are taking public transportation. We have more Priuses. We have more solar. We're 20% more recycling. We're down on our electricity by 10%, while we have grown by 10%. So we're making progress. And lastly, I'll talk more about it. I really want to get involved with making job opportunities for our citizens. Thank you.
I'm Chris Worthington, and it's time. It's time for a mayor who will finally fix the permit service center that has been so dysfunctional for homeowners and contractors alike. It's time for a mayor who will fix the parking citation and administrative citation process where you can't even appeal your parking ticket anywhere in Berkeley, and you have to mail it to Southern California and hope that it gets there in time, because if the mail takes an extra day, I had a woman, it took 11 days for her letter to get there. And so her appeal was wiped out because they didn't get it in time. But she mailed it in plenty of time. It's time for a mayor who will fix the dysfunctionalities of the city council meeting process. No one should have to come and sit at a city council meeting for 3 or 4 hours waiting for your one precious minute to speak. We know when there's a controversial case at the zoning board, there's 50 people there, there's going to be 50 people at the council. Put it on a separate night, start that item alone at 7 o'clock, everybody who wants to come can be heard. There's no reason to make you suffer for hours and hours waiting. There's no reason for the city to waste money paying the police, the fire department, the public works, the finance. All of those department staff don't have to sit there listening to a planning case. It's a waste of money. It's time for a mayor who will stand up for all the people of all the districts of Berkeley. It's time for a mayor who will appoint and hire a diversity. The current mayor in the student diversity studies has repeatedly had 1 Asian, 1 Latino, or 1 African American out of 33 commissioners. That does not reflect the diversity of the city of Berkeley, where 45% of Berkeley is not white. And this year, there's only 1 African American and 1 Latino, and there are 2 Asians. Thank you very much. It's time for a new mayor.